What's up, guys? We are here at Lyfe Motorsport in Salt Lake City with Cole Powelson. We're going to take a quick little tour of the shop. So, Cole, we appreciate you walking us around. Well, this is a really nice lobby you got in here.
Thanks, man. It's not a bad place to work on some cars.
So, yeah, this place is really impressive. I love what you guys have done with the place. Looks really nice, and I love this gigantic lobby, too.
Yeah. It's got that wow factor when you come in. You know you're about to see something weird when you come through the shop doors.
How long have you guys been in this facility for?
2.5 years.
Okay.
In the shop, yep.
Okay.
2.5 years, and really like it here. We're close enough to downtown, the international airport, 35 minutes from the track, 30 minutes from being up the canyon, so it's a good spot.
Yeah, nice. Looks like you got a little Pikes Peak.
Oh, yes.
On the side.
All the turns.
And then there's Miller over here, too?
Yeah, it's our home track in case we forget what that looks like. We got Pikes Peak, 156 turns of that, 16 feet tall. You
got the D-Sport feature on the GTR over here too.
You know, I always wanted a magazine cover growing up with car magazines, and that was the first one. And it was D-Sport, you know, it was a respected magazine. It was one I read when I was in high school, and very proud of that.
Yeah.
Very cool to have that achievement for the team.
Okay. Awesome. And over here, you got the briefcase.
Yeah, the cash pack.
Yeah.
It had $20,000 cash in it after the Speed Ring event. So.
And they let you fly through the airport with it just fine.
Yes. No, they didn't. Apparently, I look like a nice guy. This year.
Yeah, you don't look like a drug dealer, so you're okay.
They know. The only way to fund this stuff. But yeah, I got cash, and then you see a broken billet crankshaft from our Pikes Peak this year.
Oh, that's from this year.
Yeah, there's the chunk missing.
Oh man.
So, you take the good with the bad. Sometimes you get 20 grand, sometimes it costs you 20 grand. But I can assure you our Speed Ring win cost more than 20 grand.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That was,
I
it was
can
nice
imagine.
to get some of that money back, but we spent way more. And we got some, like the door up there on the left, that was from the first GTR, originally the Cobb car.
Okay.
So that was a livery we ran in 2013. And then here's 2014 on this door as we transitioned to the Lyfe Motorsport and had the black and gold for that super lap battle. And then over here you see our hood from 2015 season, again off the first GTR. So we hope to get that car back together and use that hood again, but right now it just looks pretty in the lobby.
Yeah. Yeah, got some good decorations out here though.
Yeah, you got tires from our World Time Attack run. These Yokohamas there.
Okay.
These wheels are all for sale too, so if you see them, shoot me a message.
T37 SLs.
You know it.
Nice.
A couple sets of them. And this exhaust here is a Porsche exhaust system that we built for the new 911. So
oh, nice.
One of our products.
The 991 Gen 2s, the turbo cars?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, sweet.
All of them. So these are compatible on the new models. So we're bringing a couple products to market outside of our regular just race car building, and that's I'm a big Porsche guy. I think it's a great platform, and everybody's going to want exhaust on them. It's got 2 turbos.
Yeah. No, I'm interested to see what those new turbo Carrera and Carreras can do with just a tune and some bolt-ons.
They're hot, yeah. 400 wheel on the dyno already, so it's
man, and here is the shop. Look at this. This is absolutely insane.
It's quite,
there's so much stuff back here. So what's right when we come out the door? What's the story with this car?
1986 March Indy car.
Okay.
So restored by a friend of mine, Stephen Costello, which is one of the few Americans to ever work for an F1 team. So he lives right here in Utah. My friend Jeff Gentry owned this car for a number of years. He passed away in a skiing accident, and so I've got the car here. We'll be getting it ready to sell, and hopefully find a new owner that wants to run it, because last time I was working on this car, it was driving on the streets of Sun Valley, Idaho. So
oh, wow. Driving on the streets?
On the streets, yeah.
Wow.
It was a very, very cool event, Sun Valley Road Rally. They shut down the streets, and so got to play around with this. The same day I drove a GT3 Cup car on the streets. Next year we came back with a Can-Am car. I rode passenger seat on the streets of Idaho with a Can-Am car. So,
okay.
You know, we don't discriminate here. We accept all types of race cars. So you never know what's going to come in the door next year, from off-road desert trucks to Indy cars, GTRs, lots of Porsche stuff because I'm one of those guys, and it's always cool new cars rotating through the shop.
Okay. And just beyond that, this is kind of the car you guys are known for, at least in the time attack field. The Lyfe Motorsport's GTR Pikes Peak car.
Yes, sir.
And Global Time Attack car.
Yeah, all things. World Time Attack, Pikes Peak.
Oh yeah, sorry, we just talked about World Time Attack for like 20 minutes, and I completely forgot.
Yeah, that's where it was originally built. Well, built for. And we finished the car in Australia, so you know it's made in America, but it was finished in Australia. Thanks to our good friends at Hypertune, we invaded their shop for a few weeks.
Oh man, look at this! Dang.
So 1200 horsepower beast. Maybe not this version, but the nice version that we took to Pikes Peak just made 1200 horsepower. And this one has a stock crank, and it was kind of built out of a couple motors that we had just to make it to race day. So it's not as sweet as it should be, but it's still pretty damn good. Yeah,
looks like it. Man, this is just insane.
You know, we've taken it apart and put it back together so many times that this is like version 8, so it's gotten pretty good.
Those knuckles look pretty ridiculous down there too.
Yeah, the Wisefab suspension.
I don't know if we can see down there. Kind of.
So complete billet upright, big chunk of aluminum that they start with, lots of machining. It bolts to the OEM's pickup points, so we have stock subframe in it, you know, stock shock mounts, and it's kind of in the spirit of Time Attack. We retain a lot of that stuff. It was a good partnership with Wisefab. It was a great suspension. They definitely know what they're doing on it.
Yeah, this thing looks pretty serious. And you were telling me Andrew Brilliant helped you with a lot of the aero on everything.
That's where we started. You know, you look at these big cuts behind the door here and the big gills on the fender. We started with the aero design before we even touched the car.
Really?
Because everything's built around the aero. That's where the major restrictions are. So you can move where you put the radiator, you can move where you put the intercooler. You can't move how the air flows around the wheelhouse.
Right.
So we started with the aero design, and we took what we'd learned on the chassis from the old car and applied it to this car. But yeah, aero design was done first. Everything else was built around that. You know, we've got.
Like a half door here.
Yeah.
Nice. And I like the temporary air jacks too that you can remove, so you don't have to carry all the weight around with you.
It's engineering that you wouldn't think you'd find, but we didn't want to carry around the weight of air jacks.
Right.
Also, where do you put air jacks in a car
with all
that's
the
like
the
this?
full underbody too?
And being able to drive the car, or rather roll the car to pit lane with 4 tire warmers on it for Pikes Peak.
Oh, can you put wheels underneath this thing?
Casters go in right there.
Oh, wow.
And then we have another roll around table that goes underneath the back that's hydraulics.
That's pretty sweet.
We can roll the start line in style. We're quite the envy of the people in the pits. Cause
now you just need like a little motorized thing you put in the back with a little motor, and then you can steer it, and like you don't even have to push it there.
Well, this is just Gen 1. Don't
Okay.
spoil Gen 2 ideas.
All right.
We'll get there.
So yeah, this is
fuel cell
right in the passenger area. So you have the firewall that goes down.
Our dry sump, breather can, factory instrument cluster, if you can see it in there.
Oh wow.
So I can shut some.
What's that? So what's the reason for running the factory cluster? Does the ECU need it to
partly
to run stuff?
We could jump through some hoops and get it out, but for quick diagnostic code reading, glancing at it.
Okay.
There's a few reasons that it's in there. And
I wouldn't have thought that I would see that, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's a street car. It's a bolt-on Motec. It's just it's a plug and play, so it doesn't completely remove it. We still have the factory transmission control back here.
If we can see back in there.
Yeah, maybe
might have some glare back here, but
so there's the top of our Freedom Tunnel, and we've got OEM electronics. That was a transmission cooler we put in for Pikes Peak this year.
Okay.
Just in a parking lot of a liquor store, just doing what we've got to do.
God, is this a triple element wing?
It is.
Wow.
Yeah, it's big time.
That's pretty ridiculous. And I guess every element's adjustable too, right?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, we can adjust the entire wing as a whole. We do a lot of the fine tuning just with the third element.
Okay.
And we've run one event without it. But it's you need all the downforce with all the power. There's nothing, I can't explain how important the aero is for this level of horsepower. It's really unusable horsepower without the aero. But conversely, the thing is so slow on low power. It's still very quick through the corners, so lap time doesn't change a whole bunch, versus where we're at with the old car and more power. But it's you've got to have the power to push through the drag. It's huge part of it.
Yeah, yeah, because I can imagine that's quite the drag adder with all the aero, for
First
sure.
time I drove it, I thought the car was broken. It was.
You're like, this does not feel right.
It was surprising. Yeah, I came in, I said, like, something's wrong. It's not making boost. Like, it's not happy. You can't even pull out of fifth gear. You can't shift to sixth. The gear drop to sixth is so high that the car stops accelerating. It'll actually slow down until we crest like 900 horsepower. Then it starts to want to pull a higher gear. But yeah, I was dead convinced that the car was broke the first time I drove it. In Australia, I was like, yeah, handles great. But man, it's a dog. And take the good with the bad.
I love the American flag back here. Do you guys put that on just for World Time Attack? For represent America a little bit?
Exactly. If you're gonna go down and be Team America, you gotta show some pride.
Oh wow, look at that straight shot.
So yeah.
I don't know if we can see that, but that's it goes like all the way up to the front of the car, or up to the firewall.
The bell housing.
Yeah.
And you can see our big cooling channels. Also in there, you see our transmission cooler. So we have 3 radiators on this car now, with the one in the front and the 2 on the rear. So our cooling comes back, goes through that side, and then goes over the tunnel to the secondary radiator.
Okay. There's one back here.
So 3 radiators, 3 transmission coolers.
I mean, when you're making that kind of power, though,
and then Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
We got away with the single radiator, single transmission cooler on
for like a lap or two. Yeah.
No problem. Trying to do 10 minutes, super thin air,
a little harder
horsepower. It can't be done. We tried.
Yeah.
That just pretty much defines our second year at Pikes Peak. Was the car's fast, doesn't have enough cooling, not even half the cooling that we needed. So hence the big radiator upgrades on this thing.
Okay. I can't wait to see this thing out at Speedring.
Yeah, me either.
Up in Detroit. It's going to be awesome.
We're excited to be a part of it. Keep that event going.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, cool. Well, what else do we have in here?
Oh, all sorts of fun cars. These are all customer cars.
Okay.
People brought to us for different reasons. This is a car I've been caring for 8 years now, 3 different customers. It was the first Cup car that I ever drove. So this is a 99 GT3 Cup car, which we never got here in the US. This was run by the Porsche factory team in 1999. I've recommended against modifying it to more current specs, so that's why we have the original headlights, the first gen aero kit, a lot of the cool things that make it a first year Cup car. I don't know if Porsche knew what they were getting into when they started doing factory built race cars, because they've built thousands of them now, but this was one of the first ones. It still has the key with the immobilizer on it and some other really trick stuff that are specific to that first year. So very cool car with a lot of history. You see tags on the roll cage from some of the FIA stuff and European races that it did, but it's been in the States for about 10 years, in my care for about 8. It's on its 3rd owner now.
Okay.
Super cool car. Regular track day M3 guys. It's got a supercharger on it. Makes about 400 horsepower. Just a track day car.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the vinyl over the wheel arches to make it look like it has some like fender flares. It looks a lot meaner.
Yeah, no, especially from 30 feet away, you can't tell.
Yeah. So, well, cool. And obviously, there's a lot of Spec Zs here too. I mean, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just right in here.
Right here.
So obviously, Spec Z is a class that you guys, are heavily involved in.
Super popular, yeah. It's a very popular class. A bunch of these guys, it's their second vehicle. It's more their trainer car that they can go out and throw on the rocks. And our track has a lot of rocks. Plenty of runoff, but you're gonna, it's like throwing a handful of rocks at your hood.
Yeah.
Every time you go off. So it's a little easier to do in a Z than your Porsche.
Yeah.
So We get guys with multiple cars, and they'll run a Z as well. It's such a popular competitive class. It's a great driver's class. So, yeah, the Z stuff's been very popular around here.
Cool.
And this is one of our nicest Zs, if not the nicest Z ever built.
Ever built?
I'm pretty sure it is. Maybe I'm wrong, but big Motec display, carbon Kevlar Racetech seat, Motec keypad, Lyfe built roll cage.
This is really nice.
It's extremely nice car. Very reliable.
I like the little cutouts.
Oh yeah. And then
is this the owner's initials?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's from his machine shop. So he's an aerospace machinist.
Oh,
retired.
Cool. Okay.
So he likes nice stuff, and everything he does is quite particular.
Just like very meticulous about stuff.
Very meticulous. That's why he brought his car to us, because we get Mike Kresser. We get his needs.
Right.
We know what he's trying to do. So this is extremely nice. 350Z, it's got external inputs for like brake pressure sensor.
Oh, nice.
This was probably the 5th car that we built, and by this point we knew we wanted the base model car that had this ABS pump, which doesn't come with the pressure sensor, so we've added it on. But as you can see, it's just like stock airbox. We typically run a filter, but it's in for service.
Out for maintenance right now, yeah.
But it's as stock comes. There's nothing fishy going on with it. Simple oil cooler.
I love how these cars sound too. The VQ has such a unique engine note,
right?
Which I don't know if I ever have found out exactly what makes it that way. Do you know what makes the VQ sound the way that it does? Is it the firing order, or
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's unique. We get
it's a mystery.
It's the same sound of the GTR with
an
off boost, but the GTR we have 3 cylinders going out each side, so it sounds completely different versus merging all 6 together. So
right.
Our GTR is a very, very unique sound. I don't like it off boost, but when boost comes on, it sounds proper.
Yeah. And tell us a little about your storage stuff here. You were telling me before we started the video about the way all these containers are set up. This is seems like a really logical thing to do, but I haven't seen it very often.
Well, it came out of necessity. We like the practicality of them. But originally, when we got in here, I was working with the city and said, I want to have a dirty room to do carbon fiber and storage and stuff like that. And I said, you have to do this permit, fill out this form, jump through these hoops. And I said, well, what if I just put a shipping container in there? And they said, well, that's its own standalone structure. You don't need a permit for that, and it can be removed at any time. So rather than invest in a leased building, I bought some shipping containers. They call them one-trippers, so they're in good shape. One trip from China here.
Right, because it's more expensive to send them back empty than it is just to build another one.
Right. So I think they were $2,200 a piece. Rented a forklift for a day, a big industrial one that can lift this crap up. And we have our composites room down below. We have parts storage and our air compressor and noisy stuff up there. And built a whole upper level. We got tall ceilings in here, so being able to use the upper level for tire storage and extra parts and panels and fixtures for different projects. It was built in a day.
Because this is like the center of the shop, essentially. It's where everything is kept, and so that's really cool.
Nice, work areas there, and keep our hardware cabinets and toolboxes when they're not being used in a parking spot. We like organization and order. And it's got to reflect in your work, and so we're trying to constantly raise the bar in the type of work that we do and the way that we operate, and our customers are the type of people that appreciate that.
Yeah.
So we want them to come in here and think, yeah, that's where I want my car to be.
I love all the hose reels too that I just noticed, like the old BBS Motorsport wheels.
Yep.
There's an RPF1 on the wall over there.
Oh, yeah, we got another brand new BBS that just got taken out that we can't
I mean, it's better to do that than to scrap them, right?
Oh, absolutely. Again, it's that motorsport repurposing organization thing. It's like it's a cool way to do it. We're motorsport guys.
Yeah.
And one of the coolest things Doug's ever built is a lamp for Kyle out of GTR parts. It's a transmission parts and a big lampshade, and it's like a 400-pound lamp, but it's made out of all used GTR parts, and some are broken, and there's memories and stories that go along with it. So it's just, you may see a broken wheel and think, oh, that sucks. We just see it as another opportunity for a hose reel.
Yeah.
Or extension cords, you name it. So yeah, getting creative, thinking outside the box. It's not just what we do on the cars. It's how we organize
everything.
Our shop and in our personal lives. So,
okay.
Yeah, the lower one's all composite stuff. Can't show you too much of the top secret stuff.
Okay.
Getting mad, but,
I'll. Do you want me to turn this away? I'll let you check and see what's in there real quick.
See what's out. Can't have you look at the splitters.
All right.
And step over to this.
So this
We're
is
not
the
building
dirty
anything
room for.
Dirty room for carbon stuff.
Nice.
So right now we're organizing some tools and everything, but you've got our ventilation in here, all the power. We've got composites material, heating lamp, big piece of tempered glass, so we can lay up big flat sheets.
And you know
of
it's
carbon.
flat, right?
And so it's just a work surface, but kind of.
It's a good use for it.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
This will probably, we're doing less composite stuff. This is probably going to become our engine room. We're going to do more engine gearbox stuff and have a clean room. So we'll build some benches out and we'll probably move carbon upstairs and be able to use the same ventilation and everything. But
nice.
Yeah.
And out here, there's two pretty quick cars, it looks like. You have the C5 Vet.
Bad machine.
This thing looks pretty ridiculous.
It is my favorite vet ever built.
Yeah?
And guess what just showed up?
Huh.
A sequential transmission.
Really?
So
nice.
It's getting the MCO sequential.
That's going to be
shift.
pretty ridiculous.
And
so what's the owner use this car for?
Club racing.
Okay.
We approached this with like a formula car mindset. For unlimited built vets, you just look at the craziest of crazy cars, and nobody had really taken the approach. To me, NASA left a huge opening in the rule book for Corvette to be super competitive a couple years ago. This car was built by the founder of VP Racing Fuels.
Oh, really?
And client of mine, and I said, you've got to build this Corvette, because as the rules are written today, you'll be the fastest. So it's got a 345.
Look at how like the center of the hood has been dropped and like raised for the fender wells. That's awesome. I don't know if you can see that on the video at all, but
this is a completely custom front end specific for this car. We could duplicate it again if needed, but this is the only one in the world currently.
Wow.
It fits a 345 tire on both fronts, so it runs a 345 square setup, which is the only vet that I know of.
Those forge lines?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yep. So LS7 engine makes 688 on the engine dyno. We restricted it down. It did very well at the NASA Nationals, despite being kind of a low-level build at the time. It wasn't quite as good as it is now. So we've had the past 2 years to refurbish it. It has a Ford Formula Car seat.
Oh, cool.
So it's got a two-piece foam, or two-part foam.
I was looking in there going like, where's the seat?
So
How does it
the center
go?
of gravity is very, very low.
Nice.
We built this nice.
So did you guys build this from scratch? Was it?
It was a race car with this body.
Okay.
And we completely disassembled it, painted it, put it back together because it was built in a quick-hitting fashion to reach a certain race date. Proved that it can go fast on the race date, but the project was never finished. It was like, okay, there's something, and then he went off racing in other places. So we had this car for sale for about a year. I really didn't want it to go away because I'm attached to it and I know the potential, and we've got it here, we've got the right owner in it, and he sees the vision for the project and is kind of seeing it through to completion. So this should be one of the fastest, if not the fastest C5 around, with all the equipment that it's got on it, and be able to run wheel-to-wheel races, not just a time attack deal. So
right.
sticky 345 tires, MCO 6-speed sequential, dry sumped LS7 that revs to the moon. So once we get the chassis sorted, we're talking about a bit more extreme aero. It's already has the World Challenge front splitter with the ducting through the hood, so it's not bad, but it's falling a little shy of that GTR over there. So
yeah.
We can change that. And
then one of the final cars over here, you guys have a GT3 Cup car, retired GT3 Cup car.
Yeah, 997 for first gen GT3. Again, this car has kind of followed me around, knowing the past 3 owners of it. And it's the first Pro Series I worked in was the IMSA GT3 Cup, and it was back in 2007.
Okay.
So these were the first cars that I worked on in the pro race setting, and I fell in love with them, and it's one of the best built cars to this day for like.
Oh yeah, they're some of like the most reliable racing
you
cars.
You get the good sequential, you got the good engine, and it's not over gripped or too over the top. It's a really, really good balance.
And rarely do they break.
Right. Yeah,
So,
you keep up on maintenance, and
yeah.
they just keep running. So this one, like I said, I've known the past few owners, and they've taken good care of it, and this guy's no different. It's a lot of how the car was delivered back in the day, as far as we haven't converted it to paddle shift or anything like that.
Oh, cool.
The owner added the Lexan side windows with the slider because he's a machinist, and he wanted to build something for the car. So, but it's largely untouched.
Okay.
You know, from how these cars were raced, and this car really takes me back in time because it was the first pro race.
And it was this exact car, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it got a bunch of good memories with these. It takes me back, and I'm glad it's not changed too far from where they originally started. You know, same wheels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was a Farnbacher Lowe's car originally. Went to Magnus Racing where they ran it. It also has a super rare sticker. I think they got these when they ran
Oh, wow.
Indy for the F1.
Okay.
So you don't commonly see that.
I think I'm gonna take a picture of that from my phone because I don't think I've ever seen that before.
No, you don't. You don't see them around.
Let's get that glare out. There we go. That's me. Cool. Sweet.
We've done an exhaust on it, and that's basically it.
Okay.
You maintain it. Runs like a top.
Nice.
Then you got the sweet Florida car. This is actually a really nice Z, but the guy who bought it thought it was so funny that all this crap was painted pink. He's like, just leave it pink.
Nice.
The car came out of Florida, just reeked of cigarettes, like absolutely
Oh,
terrible.
so like when this was a donor car, the mirrors
It
and
was
handles were
painted
pink. Wow.
Yeah, and this is one of the high mileage cars. This guy had the total different mindset, like buy the worst, cheapest car possible, and I'll upgrade everything else. Versus some of the other guys that
Like
buy
low
the nicest
mileage,
car.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you're
So,
telling me one of those, what was it?
14,000
Yeah, the
miles.
green and yellow one had
Yeah.
14,000 miles
Yeah,
on
this
it.
one's like 214,000. So of course he blew an engine and transmission relatively quick. So it's got a brand new OEM engine and transmission. It looks super crappy, but it's actually a very, very well taken care of car. It's got some nice bits on it, but he just doesn't care that it's pink. It's just...
Well, he's got a sense of humor.
He does
You
have
gotta-
a sense of humor.
you gotta enjoy that.
It would drive me nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would just drive me nuts. But it's his
Well,
car.
and your company name is on the side, so you got to accept it a little bit, right?
Yeah. So
Oh, wow.
Over here we got our dirty room.
Nice. Yeah, with these to keep all the shavings in.
Yeah, keep all the crap down when we're doing a lot of grinding and sanding on pieces. Helps keep the dust off
Dust
the
out,
cars.
yeah.
And more your favorite hose reels, some of the tool racks that we built. You know.
Oh, and those have all plasma cut your logo.
Yeah,
Nice.
we personalized touch all that stuff.
Nice.
So materials racks on the back side of the container. We plumb air throughout the entire shop, so you'll see these great PVC line go throughout the shop. So there's always a air nozzle here, because with this shop we had an idea of how to plan it out and know what we wanted to end up with, and we got to do it before we moved in. So we operated originally at Miller Motorsports Park for the first 6 months of the business until we got the shop up and going, and it's been great, you know, building it out the way you want to, from the way you do electrical to ventilation to grinding rooms to materials.
No, and like I said, like everything seems to be kind of centered around this kind of standalone structure over here.
Yeah, so this is what separates our kind of service side from our fabrication side. So typically this is just more of a fab lift if we're doing a big airbag install or chassis building. If it's something's going to be tied up on the rack for a few weeks, this is typically where it's sitting. Right now we just got back from a race weekend, so we're doing lots of race preps and inspections. So this side of the shop is typically dedicated to the metal fabrication, little mill, lathe back there,
Okay.
press, our big fab table here,
Nice.
where a lot of the magic happens. You know, we're problem solvers. So we blew out some CV boots due to heat.
Oh, so
the
little
guys
heat
came
shields
back,
for-
built heat shield for the CV boots on the 350Zs.
Huh.
So it's just one of those things. We're constantly trying to improve our program and crank out good stuff, and it's always a competition. You know, every single weld gets judged by everybody in here and on the internet. So
Yeah.
we never stop.
Especially the internet, right?
Of course, you know, there's a lot of people talking on there. I never see them at the racetrack, but they're talking.
Oh, I got your
CNC
plasma. Nice.
Yep. So when we first opened up the shop, we hooked up with Bailey Industrial, and they're big supporters of us and what we do. And
They local here, or?
No. It was we ran some of their equipment the last shop I ran at Raceco and liked it, and they liked us. They like what we're doing, and so they get it. You know, they deal with professional fabricators, and they wanted some help with their media, getting stuff out there. So they took care of us on buying some of this, and we use their equipment to build awesome stuff, and it shows every day when we're cranking something out here. So the plasma table runs every day.
Okay.
You see all the
scrap,
all the remnants from being run through it, but a lot of what we do is custom fabrication, and it's, like I said, it's not just on-road stuff, it's off-road, it's custom ski racks for exotic cars. It's the strangest stuff. People know we're going to do it right, so they bring it to us, and it could be, we made it like a cutting board. It's just, people know we're going to do it and execute it properly, and so we get landscape pieces, ornamental landscaping, handrails, you name it. People bring in these oddball fabrication things because they know our attention to detail, and so it works out. But everybody pays the same price, whether it's going in a garden or
no matter what it is, right?
And, people are happy to pay it because, you know, they know that we care about their project and we want to crank something out that we're proud of. This is Spec Z number one.
Is this the first one built?
As a customer car. We didn't build it, but it was the first one that was built for a guy, and the local, I told you earlier that the local NASA series really wanted this series to kick off. So the race director and his buddy caged this car and helped the guy build it out. So this one's pretty special because it was Spec Z number 3, but it was the first one built for somebody that didn't own the car themselves.
Okay.
Arthur and Tom are two of the guys that, you know, bit the bullet and said we're going to do the Z stuff, and then this was car number 3. So still running competitively today. We've got a brand new driver in it that's done some time attack stuff, and he's just got his wheel-to-wheel license and has been running it. So hope to see him come back up through the ranks and maybe build another time attack car again.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for the tour, Cole.
Yeah, my pleasure, man.
So where can people find out more about Lyfe Motorsports?
Facebook page, our Instagram, and YouTube. We upload periodically, cover most of our major events, and then our Instagram story is something I try to update at least once a day, but we have so much awesome going on all the time.
It's hard to keep up, man.
To get the phone out all the time. It's not a priority, but keep most up to date on that stuff.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for your time.
My pleasure.
All right, we'll see you later.